Hello, everybody. Andrew Blake from the digitalaudiomanual.com. And today, as usual, we're going to go through a number of fantastic Cubase tips, tools, and techniques, things that are valuable for your workflow. We're going to start off by having a look at some of the options that are hidden inside your arranger tracks. Once you've built up some events for your arranger track, and you open up the arranger editor, on the right you have the basic events that you can just click on and play to Audition. But when you want to actually build the arrangement, then you're going to begin dragging these events over to the left area until you build the song up the way you want it. Then you get all kinds of information, tells you how long the song is, where the repeats are, which we're going to look at more in a minute. But then we have this middle column that says Mode. Sometimes you don't see it or notice it because the column may be small. You can resize that to see it. Let's say I have this part A, and I have it set to repeat one time. There's a number of ways I can come over here and drag it to get more of the A part in here and repeat it more times. But you can also just click right on the number 1 here in the repeat column. And in my case, I can take my mouse wheel and I can just start spinning this up. 2, 3, 4, whatever I want. In this case, it went up to 10 different times. So I can just spin it as much as I want. Let me put 2 different times in here. And then when I click anywhere else in the window, I get these little counter blocks that tells me that's going to play 2 times. So you can just add parts and make them play as many times as you want. So going back to the mode, if I go to this first part and I click on this mode column, right now it's set to normal. So that means this is going to play just like it shows here in the order that it's in. If I take this second option, it says repeat forever. I'm going to click on that one. Kind of changes the icon to some kind of little double arrow. And what that means is when I start playing the song, this first part's just going to play over and over and over again until I tell it to do something different. How do I tell it to do something different? I just click on the arrow of another part. So while this one is playing, if I click on the next part, once it finishes one of the final times it goes through this, it'll move on. Before we do that, let's look at these other options. If I go to my A part, the next part here, I've got it repeating 2 times. If I look in the mode column and click on this, I have another option that says pause after the repeats. I'm going to choose that option. What that means is it's going to go through the 2 times and then it's going to stop for me. For whatever reason, this is all experimentation and trying to figure out how I want my song to play. And then if I go to this final option, this B section, and I click on this and I say, keep that one normal, which I will. I'll keep on the normal one. What that'll do is it'll play through that. So let's give it a shot. So we're at the beginning. It's going to play forever. So I hit my space bar. It's going to go over and over and over again, this little intro. So I can listen to it. I can decide how many times I want it. Whatever works for me. Now, once I'm ready to move on, I click this next line. And when it finishes, there it goes, into the next part. And now the next part's going to play 2 times because it has 2 repeats. So let's let it repeat. It's on the second repeat. And that's going to pause when it finishes. And there it is. And it'll stay that way until I hit the space bar. And when I hit the space bar, it will begin the B section. All right, let's talk about tools and modifiers. In the edit menu, if you come down to your preferences, you have a category at the very top that says editing, and that is loaded with some very powerful choices. And as you come down the list, there's another category that says Tool Modifiers. And in this area, you'll find your various Select Tool and Range Tool. And if you click on any of these, take the Select Tool for example, you'll see a current list of various keyboard shortcuts that will change the behavior of how your Select Tool works. For example, at the bottom of the list, it says Split Event. And it shows the Alt key. What that's telling you is that as you use your Select tool, if you hold the Alt key down, it now changes to a scissors tool, allowing you to actually split this event. So without doing anything drastic in your hand movements, you just hold the Alt key, split your events, and then move them as necessary. A pretty quick set of moves, as opposed to right-clicking, choosing the scissors tool, making your cuts, and then going back to the Select tool. If we explore this further, going back to that same menu and hitting the Select tool, we see in this list, we have the option to slip edit the content by using Ctrl and Alt. That's telling us that if I hold my Ctrl and Alt key, I can see my cursor now change to this double arrow, and this allows me to actually move the contents from within this event without actually moving the event. That comes in very useful in many situations. In previous versions of Cubase, it was an automatic shortcut to hold Shift and Alt and be able to click someplace to move my cursor. Currently, in this version of Cubase, it changes into a pencil tool. I missed the option to hold Shift and Alt and click someplace to move my cursor. And if I go back to the Edit, Preferences, and the Select tool, when I look at my options, I have one that says Set the Cursor Position, which is what I want it to do. But over in the modifiers, it shows none. This is telling me that currently there's nothing assigned. That's why that action is no longer happening. If I want to change that, I just highlight this particular command, come down to this option in the lower left that says Assign, click on that, and now if I hold Shift and Alt on my keyboard, it shows up in this little preview screen. It is not officially assigned yet until I push this Assign button one more time, and now that's been put back in there, saying Alt and Shift. I have to come down and hit Apply and OK, really lock it in. But now when I point somewhere in my project, holding Shift and Alt, and then clicking, my cursor moves. And this is the familiar behavior that I'm used to, and I'm glad to have that back. On the other hand, if I come back to this Edit and Preferences, and I want to remove that option, if I choose the Select tool again and highlight that command, without touching anything on my keyboard, but instead just come down and hit the Assign button, that will remove that assignment and put it back to none, and then it will go back to the default of what it was before. So you have complete control over how you assign your different tool modifiers, and having your tool modifiers set up the way you want them is a very powerful set of options and can clear up some very mysterious behaviors when you're not sure why certain things are happening. While we're looking at this area, I want to point out a great discovery that one of my other members, Gloria, and hello Gloria if you're watching this video, she had noticed in one of my videos that I would click an event, hold Control and click another event, then be able to double-click these events and have them open up in the key editor. But in her experience, when she clicked on one event, held Control and clicked on the other event, she was unable to actually achieve this. Through her own research, she discovered in the same area that if you choose the editing option and you have this option checked that says auto-select the events under the cursor, the way Cubase behaves, it's very easy to not even notice that the cursor is over a particular event. And when that option is chosen in your preferences, although you may select it and then hit Control to try to select another one, it won't let you select another one because the event is being automatically selected with this cursor. The advantage of this kind of preference is it allows you to move your cursor over various events, and then no matter what, even if you select multiple events, only the events under the cursor are going to be selected. If I move my cursor over this event, and then I try to select all of these events, I'm only going to be allowed to select this particular event. When you have large projects with all kinds of events on your screen, sometimes this can be a real lifesaver. In her situation, it was a total point of confusion, and she was able to determine this for herself and figure it out. Now, a couple of extra things to understand with this option. You can do two things to override it. You can just simply go back up to the preferences, and as she discovered, uncheck this, just turn that option off. Or you can make sure that your cursor is not selecting anything in the first place. In other words, it's on an area of your song where it's not over any particular event. At that point, you can again freely select events, check them all however you want, or uncheck them, and then as I did before, double-click on something and open it up in the key editor. Knowing and understanding how to set up your tool modifiers and adjust some of those preferences can be a very powerful set of options for you as you move through your Cubase projects. And if you're looking for a way to up your understanding of all the different features and functions in Cubase, be sure to click the link in the description of this video or stop by thedigital.audiomanual.com for more information. As always, it's great to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.